Hello, Mr. Clapp. Yes, she is. Sure. Jordan, phone call. You guys may have never received a phone call at home before. This is how it used to happen. And they'd be like, ooh, it's a boy. Who is it? And I use text. But actually, it's Mrs. Brown. Sign, you know what that means?
Factorial.
What's that mean?
I don't know.
No idea? All right, Katie.
It's 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1.
It's 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Yep, that's all that means. Okay, so when you see that symbol, count down. So now, all right, we're back. We're on the guided notes here. Here's your definition. And it has to be real clear here. A positive integer n. You can't like put a negative number there. You can't put a decimal. You can't put a fraction. It's just positive whole numbers. You need this. So n factorial. Whatever that number is, then you start there and you count down all the way to 1. So if I got 8 factorial, that is 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Okay. All the way down. Now it's on your calculator. Okay, everything's on these things. If you go to type in the numbers, if I hit 8, or wait, let me do 5 first because I said it was 120. I want to make sure you believe me. Hit math, go to PRB, stands for probability. This comes up a lot in probability as well. We won't cover, and like statistics covers probability as well. So if you want to know the best game to play when you go to Vegas, you take statistics. What's the best odds of winning? But none of them are in your favor. So 5 factorial, 120. So 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Okay, all the way down. 8 factorial. 8 math. Factorial. Okay. 40,320. Gets really big really fast. Okay, really big really fast. So like look at 12 factorial. And okay, that is 479 million. Okay, so that's just 12. Like it's not like 25. Like think about 25 factorials because those blow up really quick. Okay, as a special case, 0 factorial is defined. Okay, basically we're saying this is what it is. 0 factorial is 1. Okay, anytime you have that. So other than that, everything else has to be a positive integer. 1, 2, 3, 4. Everything after that. Okay. So you just count down. All right. Simplify the file. Do not use a calculator. Okay. Yeah, you can just type it in there. It spits out a number, but you have no idea where it comes from. Okay. So we got to be able to understand it. All right. What's 5 factorial divided by 6 factorial? All right. Write it out. 5 factorial is 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 over 6 factorial. When you're dealing with these, you got fractions cancel. Okay, so anything on top, since everything's being multiplied, will cancel with anything on the bottom. What's the only thing that's left? 6 on the bottom. 1 6. That's what you got. Okay, so that's what you 1 6. Okay. So you want to figure that out. You want to take a look at what's going to cancel. All right, now the second one there, be careful. 10 factorial over 6 factorial times 4 factorial. You cannot like multiply those together and make it 24 factorial. Okay, there's no supplying. You got to treat those as two different things, two different strings. The top 10 factorial is 10 all the way down to 1. 10 times 9 times 8 times 7 times 6 times 5, 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Okay, now I got two different strings, 6 factorial and 4 factorial. Again, we do want to cancel. What I would suggest, I think this is easier, is take your biggest string, the highest 6, 5, 4. Cancel that first. So you cancel that straight out. So take care of all those with whatever's in the numerator. So 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and then 1. And see if anything else will cancel. It won't cancel just straight up because there's not a 4 above or a 3. But what it will, we can get some things to cancel. And the denominator, what's 4 times 2? 8. Do we have an 8 above? So that can cancel. So this 8 can be taken care of by that 4 and that 2. Will that 3 cancel with anything? Maybe. The 9. 3 goes into 9. I gotta watch what I say cancel would. Simplify. 3 goes into 9. What's left? 3 on top. So really, what is left when we're all done? We're left with a 10. We're left with a 3. And we're left with a 7. Multiply that together. You get 210. But yes, you can use your calculator to check it. 10. Math. Factorial. Divided by. Since I get more than one thing, I better put them in parentheses. 6. Math. Factorial times 4. Math. Probability. Factorial. Where's that at? 4. And 210. So it's got to match up. But you're really not sure where it comes from if you just type it in there and that gives you, and you would never know how to do a problem like this. All right, so n plus 1 factorial divided by n minus 1 factorial. All right, what's that going to simplify to? All right, let me just go through a couple things before I go back to this problem. You can just pay attention or whatever. Make sure you understand how the definition works. Whatever number you're starting with or whatever expression you're starting with, to get to the next one, you always subtract 1. Okay. So this would be n. This would be n minus 1. What would be the next one if I listed it? I got n minus 1. What would have to be the next one? N minus 2. You'd keep going down. So think about this. I'm going to do something before I come back to that. So what about like n plus 3 factorial? What would be the first number? You always start with whatever's given to you. The first number would be n plus 3. So we would take n plus 3 times what? Subtract 1 from that. What would be 1 less than that? N plus 2 times n plus 1. All right, times what? N. Now it would go to n minus 1. And then n minus 2. And it's always going to go all the way down to what? Where's it stop at? Does stop. What's the last number? Never goes into the negatives. It always goes down to 3 times 2 times 1. 3 times 2 times 1. So if you look up here, 10 factorial. You go 10 all the way down to 1. 6 factorial. 6 all the way down to 1. 4 factorial. 4 all the way down to 1. N factorial. N all the way down to 1. So you do have a stopping point. So we go to 1. All right, now let's take a look at this one. What is n plus 1 factorial? Start at what? Whoops. The first one would be n plus 1. Times what next? 1 less than that. N. Then 1 less than that. N minus 1 times n minus 2. Dot, 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 and it goes till I go down to 3 times 2 times 1. Because this could be like 17. N could be 17. N could be 28. N could be 4. Okay, but it's always going to go down to 3 times 2 times 1. All right, so that's what you're going to have on top. What's the denominator going to look like? Start with n minus 1. What's the next one less than that? N minus 2. And then what's the next one minus that? N minus 3, all the way down to 3 times 2 times 1. All right, now here's where we got to understand what's going on, because what's going to cancel? Okay. Starting at n minus 1, is there an n minus 1 on top? Yep. Andrew.
I'm confused how it goes down to 3 times 2 times 1.
Okay, let n be, all right, give me a number for n. 3. All right, so in that case there, 3 minus 1, it would just be 2 times 1. Okay? That would be the only case. If n is bigger than that, if n is 8, 8 minus 1 is what?
7.
7. So what would be my numbers? It would be 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, right?
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
So here we just have to write it as an expression. But regardless, we always go down to whatever that number is, down to those final values. All right, so now what cancels? We got n minus 1 cancels with n minus 1. N minus 2 cancels with n minus 2. Now this says n minus 3. Is there an n minus 3 there? Yeah. So basically from n minus 1 all the way down, it will cancel. Okay, so from n minus 1 all the way down will cancel. So what am I left with? Okay, I am left with n plus 1 times n. And that's fine if you left it like that, but you could distribute the n and get n squared plus n. Okay. That would be the final value for that. You just, whatever n is, if n is 16, 16 squared plus 16. That would be the final answer for that. All right, so that's factorial. That is factorial. All right, the next piece. There we go. Everybody, like if you give a string of numbers, somebody's going to inevitably add them up. Okay, for whatever reason. Okay. Oh, let's see what they add up to. This is notation. I equals 1 to n. That tells you where to start. You plug that in as 1. This tells you where to end. So I'm going to plug it in 1, 2, 3 until I get to n. If n is 5, I stop at 5. If n is 10, I stop at 10. Then you take those and you add them up. So let's take a look at this case. So it means I equals 1 to 5 of negative 2i. So I'm going to plug in 1 to that, and then I'm going to take each term and add them together. So I'm going to kind of write this out in a little more detail than maybe normal. So for the first one, I equals 1. You plug that in. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. Plus I equals 2. Negative 2 times 2, negative 4. And that's all you do. You just keep doing that until you get to what? 5. Plus, so I equals 3. Plus, negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. I equals 4. It's going to be negative 8. I equals 5. It's going to be negative 10. And then what am I going to end up with? Final answer will be negative 30. So the sum, okay, is negative 30. Like if you do like spreadsheets, you get little formulas, you're adding up, get everybody's score, and you find the average. Well, it'll give you a little sum symbol, you average them up, you add them up, divide by the number, get the score, get the average. All right, on the second one, I believe yours says 3, right?
Yeah.
Keep it as 3. Keep it as 3. I'll change mine. It doesn't always have to start at 1. Doesn't have to start at 1. A lot of times it does, doesn't have to. So I equals 3 to 7. That tells you what number to plug in first. Plug in 3, and you keep plugging in. You always add by 1 until you get to the 7. So for I equals 3, now watch how this negative is. That negative is not in parentheses, so it's negative 3 squared plus 8. What's that going to equal? Is it going to be 17 or is it going to be -1? It's -1. Okay. To be 17, it would have to be written, you would have to be squaring the negative as well. The way that is written, you're just negative is in front, and then you square whatever number you plug in for I. So 3 squares 9, it becomes -9 plus 8. Okay, so that's going to be a -1. I equals 4. We get -4 squared plus 8. So I get -16 plus 8, -8. I equals 5. -5 squared plus 8. -17. All right, you go ahead and do 6 and 7. See what you come up with for your final sum. Brooke, what'd you get for 6?
-95. Oh, 6. -28.
And then 7.
-41.
And I'm going to say that's your total?
Yeah.
-95. We agree? All right, see, no disagreement. All right, -95. So take each term, add it up. So let's just substitute it into expression. Now, the last expression, the expressions can get a little more complicated. K equals 0 to 3. Start at 0, go to 1, go to 2, go to 3. So this is telling you what to substitute in. Okay, we evaluate each one, add them all together. So start with K equals 0. And that's going to be -1 to the 0 power times 0 factorial. All right. Don't plug it in your calculator. What's it going to be? 1. It's going to be 1. Anything to the 0 power is 1. We defined 0 factorial to be 1. 1 times 1 is 1. K equals 1. -1 to the first power times 1 factorial. -1 to the first power is -1. 1 factorial, that just means 1. 1 times itself, 1. So we get -1. K equals 2. -1 squared times 2 factorial. -1 squared is 1. 2 factorial is 2 times 1 plus 2. K equals 3. -1 cubed times 3 factorial. That's a -1 times 3 times 2 times 1 plus -6. So what do you end up with at the end? -4. So our final answer, the final sum is -4. All right, so you got factorial. Take a constant, multiply all the way down to 1. You're able to do that. And then this is summation notation. Greek letter. What's the Greek letter? Anybody know? As a name? Sigma. S-I-G-M-A. Greek letter sigma. Capital is a capital sigma, not a lowercase. I believe the lowercase sigma looks like that. Okay, for you Greek enthusiasts. All right, start on this. I'll get to as many as I can here today with recommendations and how your grade is for the 9 weeks. Who was the last one?
Sign.
Did I talk to you yesterday?
Yeah, like as always.
Okay. All right, so not many.
Can I use the restroom?
You can.
Thank you.
And I'll just tell you for the recommendations, if you have an A, I'm going to put you down for AP Calc. It may not be what you want to take. I'm going to put you down for that. If you want to take the other one, see me. And then we'll just, and it's fine. I just want to hear your rationale. So if you got an A, that way I don't have to go through everybody. I'm putting you down for AP Calc. And I'm going to put everybody down for CCP stats so that if you do choose to take it, they won't question you. Does Doesn't mean you have to take it. Okay, doesn't mean you have to take it. If you got a B, we probably need to talk. Good talk, not bad talk. Here's your restroom. Yeah. Yep.
Just think. Pardon? Just take this easy.
That's what parties. Parties say it's not the class this year. What are you saying? Rude of him.
I could just
Like,
take over
hold
the
back
server
so I
and
can
just
get
graduate.
Yeah.